Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. Slightly earlier today, and there is a reason for that, which I will tell you about in a minute. Today is the 9th of April. It is 10:30 a.m. Central European Time, 9:30 in the morning in the UK. That requires some commitment to get up and watch us if you are there. We've got a busy show today. We're going to go through the markets. We're going to go through some X-Files. We're then going to look at some headline stories from the last 24 hours. Is crypto, not Bitcoin, I was going to say Bitcoin, is crypto going to double its market cap by the end of the year? We are then going to have a look at 1inch. They are looking at offering a card. Interesting. We're then going to look at the rivalry between L2s on Ethereum. Can we see a $1 Doge and Fader? We're going to go through some of the news. We've kind of covered it in the past where certain chains have been targeted, is probably a better word to use. They've been targeted by periodicals, news articles, whatever it might be. We've seen it with Ethereum. We've seen it with exchanges in particular, certain ones. We've seen it with XRP. Now we're seeing it with ADA, and we notice this an awful lot. There seems to be a theme to attacking certain chains, and I've covered ADA probably 3 times in the last week, and we very rarely talk about ADA, maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks. 3 times now in the last week, something is going on. There is a concerted attack against ADA. Is this coinciding with the downside on Solana? Let's have a look at that. And then final thoughts. A few good mornings then to Mags, to who else is here? Kishan is here. Tariq is here. We have Ma in chat. Good morning to you all. Stowe is there. I hope you are all doing well. Remember, this is, and Doreen is back. I haven't seen Doreen in a while. Remember, this is a two-way conversation. If you have a comment to make, leave it in chat and I will get back to you. Apart from one set of chats, and I am just going to turn off their chat for a while. There we go. I've turned chat off simply because it is spammed to death. So I will turn that back on later on. Oh, possibly be the problem. Either that or it doesn't like being too early. Now I am checking the stream on a couple of different places, and we are definitely up. We are definitely live, as far as I can see. Anyway, we shall carry on. I can see the stream. Let's give it a couple of seconds. It could be lag. Okay, I think we're okay now. I think we're back. Nothing's got a little whirring icon on, so I think we're good. So, volume is back up above $100 billion. It's up 60% in the last 24 hours. Incredible. Bitcoin dominance still 52.4. ETH has dropped away a little bit, and the halving is 10 days away. We are into the final 10 days. So a week on Saturday, approximately a week on Saturday, we are going to see the halving that everybody has been looking forward to. What's up then in the last 24 hours? NEO is up 32%. Toncoin, not one of my favorites. That's up to 23 billion. It's 9th. I cannot believe it. Athena is up 20%. Nervos is up 8. Phantom is up 8. Oh no, 6, sorry. EOS is up 6. Theta is up. Gala and a few others are up. Not a bad 24 hours for those coins. And losers, not too many losers at the bottom end. Core, Wormhole, Mantle, Bonk is down a touch. Dupe is down a touch. Dupe at $1.37 for me is a steal. My fair price for Jupiter is $150. Above 150, when it gets towards 180, I think it's overbought. And below 150, I think it's oversold. 137 for Jupiter, for me, is still good. Remember, they are doing voting rounds every month, every 6 weeks. they have a new set of projects to vote for, and the winning 2 votes, those coins are airdropped to the people who voted that hold dupe. So I got my Zeus tokens on Friday. They were $130 at this moment in time, I think. $130 for free, that's off 1. Then Sharkify is going to drop, that's potentially another $50 or $60. So $200 a month from staking my dupe is really not bad, considering that it's a bit of a side project for me. Doge is down, still at that 19-cent range. We are going to look at Doge. And for those of you that watched me for a while, you know that I said that selling Doge at 19 cents way back then was the best price. We did move up a little bit. We've come back down to that 19-cent mark. It is a it is a coin that will rip. So even though I said sell it at 19 cents, that was some time ago, it's probably going to move up from here. Mags, tell the truth, Mike, you love Ton. I don't love it. I think there are certain chains which are overvalued. That's my honest opinion. I think they're overvalued based on hype. I'm sure, you know, don't get me wrong, Ton Coin is going to be a good project. But is it the 9th best project in the world? Or if you take out the stable coins, is it the 7th best project in the world? No, I don't think it is. So it's not there on merit. It's there on hype, if you like. Same with meme coins. When meme coins break out like Dog with Hat, they go to $5 billion. It's not there on merit. It's there on hype. And the problem with a hyped price is it will always retrace. That's the issue for me. Anyway, so we've had a few losers. We've had a few gainers. Overall, let's just have one quick check again on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's back up to 70,270. So we're going to look at the Bitcoin price in a minute. We have a couple of X-Files. And I've decided that one of them is going to be a bit of fun. Now this video, I don't know why I like this. This is a little tiny baby calf running around, and this is the wall. You see that wall there? That's $74,000 Bitcoin, and that calf is me. You see, all of you are looking surprised. What on earth? Where's 74,000 come from? Where's $74,000? My target in the bottom right hand corner. I am the calf, and that wall is $74,000 Bitcoin. We are going to jump that wall any day now. Do not fade my $74,000 target. We're going to have a look at it in a minute, but that's the start of the show. It only gets worse from here. So then, again, more evidence to support the fact that I think we're going to get the Ethereum ETF next year. Nate Geraci, whoever this gentleman is, several ETF issuers have met with the SEC regarding the spot ETH ETF, but according to Barron's, those discussions have largely been one-sided, without the agency giving companies critical feedback needed to finalise their products. Remember what Gary Gensler says. Come in and see us and we will help you. Come in and see us and talk to us and we will sort things out. Well, guess what? You go and see the SEC, they don't give you the information you need, and then they turn around and slap you with a fine. That is the state of American financial regulation. It's a disgrace and it needs to be sorted out. So May the 23rd is the deadline. It's not going to happen. It has no chance of happening. People are saying there's a 10% chance. It's not going to happen. I've been saying all along it was never going to happen, and it's never going to happen. So don't listen to them when they tell you we're getting the Ethereum ETF in May. It won't happen. And this, another funny meme. I made $500,000 off the meme coin you tweeted about last week. I bet you made millions. Now, I don't make anything off most of these meme coins because I don't buy them. So when I've made videos about Myro, when I've made videos about some of the other Solana coins on the channel, I don't buy them. And the ones I do buy, I tell you about. So I'm still holding a little bit of BOEM. I'm still holding a little bit of Bonk. And, of course, WEN, but I don't hold anymore. And that's me, because I know people have made a lot. The other side of that wall, Fran, is $100,000. Well, actually, it's $94,000, but what's $6,000 between friends? Never be afraid of what is on the other side of the wall. There, that's the quote of the day. Now then, the last X file of the day is the rate cuts. When are the rate cuts going to start in America? We have a 12th of June and a 1st of May on here. But if you go for the 12th of June, there's a 51% chance of a rate cut. That chance is also 50% for July. So June or July, there is a 50-50 chance of a rate cut. And this is what we're looking at for the next 12 months in terms of rate cuts. So they are predicting 3 rate cuts this year in America. That would put us down at about 4.5% from where it is now. That 1% extra in the economy is going to cause more money to come in and hopefully push the price of Bitcoin up. But we're 50-50 on whether that's going to happen in June. We just have to see where we are. Right then, let's have a very quick look at the Bitcoin chart before we move on and see where we are. What other crypto streamer shows you the Joker and a cow jumping over a wall at 10:30 in the morning? Answer me that question. None of them. Exactly. Right then, so where are we with the price of Bitcoin? I think the chart is probably too big for you to see everything on. So let me move this over a little bit. Now, we came up yesterday. Let's go to the 4-hour. We came up yesterday and we touched 42.8. That is where we touched. So we have this target on here, which is about 75,000 now. That's the target. We came to 72.5. We got rejected. We've come down. Now we've retested. We've retested the $70,000 line. Let's move this up to show you. So that is the line now that we are trying to retest. So what's likely to happen? Well, if you look back, we failed on these occasions to stay above it. So we break down. Then we meander up, we come down. Now, what's important, and I talk about this a lot, when you break a price target, $70,000, $60,000, $50,000, it doesn't matter. What is important is we break it and test it and hold it. So what is important now is we do this. This is what's important. We find it's like you're walking on a lake covered in ice and you're taking one step at a time. And every time you put that foot in front of yourself, you're testing the support of that ice. If the ice breaks, you know you can't go that way, and we're just going to come straight back down. 67, 68,000, and then come back up. So what's important over the next 6 or 8 hours is that we hold 70,000. And if we do hold 70,000, then by the end of the day, we could be back at 71, 72,000. And we're going to go for that 74,000. It's going to happen. We are 9 days, 10 days away from the halving. We are close. Some of the predictions for what we're going to be at the halving range from 68,000 to 94,000. Who knows? I don't have a crystal ball. As I always say to you, I am just some guy on the internet that goes through the news. I think we are going to be somewhere in the 70s. Maybe we're going to be at 75 to 80. That would be my prediction for the halving. But over the next 6 to 8 to 12 hours, we need to hold this and we need to come back up. I want to see us today at 73,000, 72,000, somewhere around that. That's what I want to see today. So let's see. There isn't an article about Bitcoin today. We're going to go off and have a look at some news from, I believe, Brad Garlinghouse. Now, this is an interesting prediction because it's not one I've seen before. And this is to do with the market cap of crypto by the end of the year. Now, what you've got to remember with... Don't want to answer a questionnaire, thank you very much. What you got to remember is that if the market cap doubles to 5 trillion, so will all of the prices roughly. Bitcoin is 52% of the total market cap. So whatever Brad Garlinghouse is saying here, read it as all the other coins in the top 5 or 6 or 7 also doubling in price. So he's predicted a 5 trillion market cap by the end of the year. So the argument there is that Bitcoin will be at $150,000, $140,000, somewhere like that. That's what he's predicting. And he's given his reasons why in this article. Is that big enough on your screen? I think it is, yeah. So the value of the cryptocurrency market could almost double to 5 trillion by the end of the year, propelled by the January approval of the spot Bitcoin ETF. I'm very optimistic. I think the macro trends, the big picture, things like the ETFs, they're driving for the first time real institutional money. You're seeing that drives demand, and at the same time, demand is increasing, supply is decreasing. This is very true. The rate at which new Bitcoins are produced, we know, 450 from 900. This month's cut will take the payment to 3.125 Bitcoin per block. Now, I've said this a few times. I'm going to reiterate the point again. The supply shock that you see from the halving isn't instantaneous. So when you wake up on April the 21st and we've had the halving, don't think we're suddenly going to be at $200,000 because there's less Bitcoin. That halving, that supply shock can take around about 6 months for it to really kick in. Because all of the 900 Bitcoin a day that are being produced, that takes time to go through the system. Remember, miners don't sell all 900 Bitcoin a day. That's one thing. They might sell 700 a day, 600 a day. Then suddenly you go to 450. They might only sell 100 a day. At that point, when the supply shock hits, maybe November this year, that's when the price will start to push up, because we will start to see the effects of fewer and fewer Bitcoin on the exchanges. And traders are not daft people. They're the clever people. They're going to look at this and say, you know what, I'm going to sell my Bitcoin for 100,000, 150,000, 160,000, whatever it might be. And that point, you're going to see God candles, not every day, maybe once a month. That's something else to bear in mind. So, back to the article. The crypto market is currently valued at 2.68 trillion. It's come down a little bit since. The CoinDesk index has measured. The broader crypto market has rallied 49%. Despite the crackdowns in America, Garlinghouse remains positive on the future of crypto regulation. Last June, the SEC sued various people. One of the things, actually, I'll say on the macro tailwinds for the industry, I think we get more clarity in the United States. The US is still the largest economy in the world, and it's unfortunately been one of the most hostile crypto markets. I think that's going to start to change also. That is reading between the lines. He knows that candidate will have more chance of defeating Trump. I don't wing the vote, because at the minute, Trump is winning by a landslide. Biden is the most unpopular American president in history. He's lost everything. He's lost the black vote. He's lost the vote of the middle ground, if you like. He's obviously losing a lot of Democratic support because of these polls. He's finished. So they might bring in another candidate. However, whichever candidate comes in from the Democrats, if it's one of the big ones, or Trump and Vivek and whoever, they will be way more pro-crypto than the current administration. And whatever happens, as long as we have a slightly more bullish American House, we will see Gary Gensler will step down anyway because he was appointed by Biden. So that, coupled with the new president, we will have a better chance of regulations being sorted. And that's why I'm predicting next March, April, May for the Ethereum ETF, because the president wins the election in November and they're inaugurated in February of 2025. So when that happens, we will give it a couple of months and then we should see the Ethereum ETF. Now, moving on, we've got difficult working out how much time I've got left. We're 22 minutes in. I think we've got plenty of time. So 1inch unveils a crypto debit card in partnership with MasterCard and banks. Users will be able to make cash withdrawals and point-of-sale transactions at supported ATMs and locations. So the DeFi firm 1inch Network has debuted a new card with crypto to fiat bridge functionality. The card was developed in partnership with MasterCard and banks. According to a blog post, the new debit cards will feature full functionality, including a physical card, an account number, expiration date, and CVC security code. Required to conduct some transactions, it will also have a virtual card feature, allowing users to conduct transactions digitally where supported. We've long championed solutions that only meet customers where they are, but also deliver ubiquity, peace of mind, and the highest levels of security. Leveraging MasterCard's leading tech and standards, the 1inch card is connecting Web 2 and Web 3 worlds in an innovative way. Remember what I've been saying all along. MasterCard and Visa do not care about the banks. Visa and MasterCard want as much of the pie as possible. So, Kishan, card for crypto is a good move. It is a good move. And the reason you've seen so many crypto companies' cards being penalized is because they're a threat to the banking system. And that's what they don't want. When Visa and MasterCard get involved, then what you find is Visa and MasterCard are saying, well, why do we need a bank? Why do Visa and MasterCard need a bank? They need a bank to carry out the transaction because that's where the funds are held. If they can put a bank in their pocket, like banks, they don't need banks. Imagine if 10 million people tomorrow all started to use this card and they were all based in Europe. It would make a dent, no matter what the banks tell you. There is a scenario where more and more banks start to go to the wall, and we might end up with, let's take Europe for example, we might have 500 banks at the minute in Europe. If the way things are going continue, we could end up with 30 or 40 big banks in 10 years' time, because all the small banks are just going to fall by the wayside. They're going to lose their power. Building societies are different, savings are different, but actual high street banks, as they're called. If Visa and MasterCard eat away at the transactions, it also eats away at the income for the banks. I once had an email from my bank asking me to use my card more. And I replied, why are you asking me if you want to use my card more? And the lady said, because we don't make any money off your account. We only make money off your transactions. So if the banks lose these transactions to Visa and MasterCard, and Visa and MasterCard have their own proxy bank, which is banks, then all of these smaller banks are going to go out of business. And you think that might be scaremongering, but think of it logically. 5 or 10 years in the banking world isn't a very long time. And if you move everybody over to crypto, and all the major crypto banks or crypto exchanges, for example, have their own card powered by Visa and MasterCard, who've got their own crypto bank that they can control, all of these smaller banks are going to go out of business. And that's why you're going to have this kind of concentration of banks, whether it be HSBC, whether it be Santander, whether it be Barclays. They're all just going to suck up all of the banking, exactly the percentage for the transaction will be the loss. It'll be a huge loss. I know transaction fees for banks are, especially on exchanges as well. So if you buy something in dollars and your currency is pounds or euros, you are paying 1-2% on that transaction, and that goes to the bank. So if that's gone and it goes to Visa and MasterCard, they're just going to become absolute monoliths. Literally huge companies. So you've got to be very careful. Not everything we want is good for the world. For now, the cards are only available in the UK and the EU. However, according to 1inch, the company is seeking to expand the service area depends on our partners. We are working on geographical expansion for the 1inch card. Stay tuned. So this is good for 1inch. That's the first thing. It's good for 1inch. It's bad for the banking industry. We don't want to lose the banking industry. Let me make that clear. You need banks. You need real banks. Whether you like them or not, whether you like their fees, we need banks, because banks provide liquidity. They provide liquidity to businesses. They provide a place for you to store your money, which is insured. I think it's 75,000 euros, 100,000 euros in Europe, and 60,000, 70,000 pounds in the UK. So it's a safe place to put your money. They are backed by governments. You can't get rid of them and replace them with a crypto card that has a faceless entity. Where is the customer support going to come from? All of these things that you get with a traditional bank that you pay for through these fees, that will all be gone. Visa and MasterCard will end up with all the money, and all these local banks that have been around for 300 or 400 years will be gone. Some of you will want to see the end of them, that's fine. But you need banks. If banks go, we're in big trouble. Now, as far as 1inch goes, again, it's a good pattern. For the price, we're at 60 cents, but with a lot of coins. Back in October 2023 is when all of this started. We covered it yesterday. This is beautiful action. This is lovely. Bouncing off support. Haven't come down and touched it there, but look, we're back at this support line. So this line here is 61 cents. That's where the price is currently finding resistance. Good morning, Tata. I am live a little bit early today because it is the Oracle's birthday. Brogan is 19 today, believe it or not. The next James Bond. So where is the price going to go? Well, what we need to do is take a look back at the annals of time. And our next target, for me, you have nice confluence here. You've got the previous resistance was 88 cents. So that would be a almost 50% move for 1inch to get back to that. Now, it's not going to go there in a straight line. Well, if I ever give you a price, it's never going to be in a straight line. The support price is just under 50 cents. So we're 20% above this support line. If Bitcoin does retrace, we could come down to this and we could do this. That's what could happen. But for me then, you haven't got, and this is where I'm going to play the odds. The downside risk is 20%. The upside risk is 50%. That's how I would play it. And even the downside risk in the bull market stage we're in, even if we do this, it could move up like that. So what you could look at doing, 50, 51, 52 cents, and then put some sell orders at 85 cents, which is about there. So if you want to make a quick trade, you want to go above support and below resistance. So what I mean by that is you want to not go to the bottom, so potentially go to here, and then when you come up to here, you want to be selling about there. So that would be a quick 50% gain. And by quick, I mean over the next week, potentially. Because once this news gets out, it is going to pump the price. And I mean, it is huge news for this network. In my opinion, it's huge news. Anyway, we're going to move on because we've used half our time and we've got half the stream to go. So we are back on track. And again, we are going to be looking at the Doge charts. So I can't look at every chart on every article. Otherwise, it will just take forever. So for me, I think that would be the wise moves for 1inch anyway. Now then, rivalries amongst Ethereum layer 2s threaten the ecosystem's future, says the Polygon CEO. Now, you know as well as I do, Polygon is my favorite layer 2 on Ethereum. I think it does everything it needs to do. I think it's complementary to Ethereum. And I think, as I said yesterday, there's a symbiotic relationship between the layer 2s and Ethereum, and especially with Polygon. Polygon has driven the Ethereum blockchain forward more than any other layer 2 on Ethereum. It has been around longer, so you would expect that. But if you compare the achievements of all the layer 2s on Ethereum at this moment in time, Polygon's got the most. There are other chains I like on Ethereum, don't get me wrong. There are other layer 2s that I like, but for me, you have to doff your cap when you see something work as well as Polygon. So, the layer 2 networks face criticism for harming rather than helping themselves. So, Mark Boyron believes the intense rivalry between the ETH layer 2 networks is the biggest problem facing the second largest digital asset by market cap. In a post on X, he said, Ethereum's biggest problem is cannibalizing itself continuously via all the L2s competing over devs, users, and liquidity rather than competing outside of the Ethereum ecosystem. Microeconomics 101 would tell you this is a bad strategy. I don't have the answer, but it needs to be addressed. Now, we know about the AG layer. We talked about the AG layer. The AG layer is creating a pool of liquidity amongst chains whilst allowing the chains to remain independent and autonomous. And Polygon created the AG layer for this. They've also got lots of other things, the ZK rollups and things like that. They've done a lot of the tech, but this is probably hinting at the fact that they need to be working together, because at the end of the day, say all the time, the end user does not care if they are on Polygon or Arbitrum or Optimism or Cardano or Solana. They don't care. And we're talking about retail, not you. We know you know the difference between the chains. They don't care. If they have a game that they want to play and it is on the Matic network, the Polygon network, and their funds are in their MetaMask wallet, they don't care what chain their funds are held on. They want to go and buy the NFT to play the game. Everything between that transaction and then playing the game is irrelevant to them. They don't care. And that is what Polygon is trying to move everybody towards. This aggregated layer, the AG layer, is aggregating everybody together. And as far as liquidity goes, it's important because they need to be atomic and seamless. They need to happen instantaneously. Imagine making a phone call to Canada from the UK, and you use the phone. It says, I'm really sorry, you can't use this phone to call Canada. You need to use the XY600. So then you put the phone down, and then there's another phone next to it, and you're in a use to call Canada. That's where we are at the minute with MetaMask, because you've got to move your funds from one chain to another. It's a pain in the backside, and it doesn't work for retail. It does not work a little bit. So what Polygon are trying to do is combine everything together so the user doesn't notice. That's where we need to get to. This in-house bickering, you see it all the time on X. Ethereum maxis having a go at Solana maxis, Cardano maxis having a go at Bitcoin maxis. It's an absolute disgrace. If one chain has a problem, that is not a reason for you to go out and bash it. And we're seeing it at the minute. We're seeing Cardano maxis having a go at Ethereum for being expensive, having a go at Solana for having problems. Why is Solana having problems? Because it's being absolutely battered with transactions from usage. Cardano doesn't have those problems because Cardano doesn't have the usage of Solana. So this jealousy between chains, they've got to stop. So L2s only become successful if they meaningfully grow the pie and attract 99% of stuff that's outside of Ethereum today. If we fight over the same people that are already here, no one is winning anything. I totally agree. Fragmentation and chain abstraction will soon be solved. L2s should reshape their views on the value of siphoning apps from one L2. Successful application on XL2 will provide a percentage uplift to the value to YL2. Stealing applications is cannibalization. Can use that app. So if you're on Optimism and you want to carry out a swap that involves Polygon and that AG layer is sitting there, Optimism will take a percentage of the transaction. Matic will take a percentage of the transaction that sits on one of the chains that can be used by all of the chains. That's what Matic are trying to do. And that's what he's alluding to. Why is everybody fighting over the same 500,000 people when there's 500 million people they're trying to bring to crypto? That's what he's getting at. At the beginning of the month, the number of active wallets utilizing the networks surpassed 5 million. At the same time, the total value of assets locked on these platforms has exceeded 42 billion, and there are indications that the trend could continue. So we're talking about 5 million people out of a global population of people that could potentially use crypto of, say, 3 billion. So we're talking about 5 million over 3 billion. So why are they fighting over 5 million people when there are 2.99 billion people to bring to crypto? And I totally agree with him. Totally agree with him. Right, let us move on. And if you haven't checked out the Ag Layer by Polygon, I would strongly recommend you do so. Now then, my least favorite meme coin. And again, I'm agnostic on this channel. If there is a newsworthy article, I will include it. And that includes talking about TON. And that includes talking about Dogecoin. I think Dogecoin is an utter waste of time. I think it is I think it's useless. I think it's an absolute waste of time. However, people like it, and people want to hold it, and people are interested in the price. And therefore I will include it. But I will also make my feelings known because I am a neutral. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I can tell you what I think. Dogecoin then, the goal of $1. I sold my Doge at 68, 69, 70 cents years ago, and I haven't looked back since. I haven't regretted that transaction. But people still talk about, can Shiba Inu hit a cent? Can Pepe hit a cent? Can Doge hit $1? These are all the aspirational targets for Doge. Now, I think personally, there's a lot of psychology involved in that. I think it's a case of, if they talk about these prices, it will make you guys think it's cheap at the price it is. So if they say, can Doge hit $1? You'll think, well, if I buy it at 19 cents, $5 million for Bitcoin. It's a statue, which is quite interesting because a statue doesn't do anything. It just stands there. And that's a little bit like Doge. Doge doesn't do anything. It just stands there, taking up valuable space in the crypto top 10. Doge shed its April 7th gains as the price moved marginally in the last 24 hours. Doge's sudden pump on 7th of April grabbed the attention of the entire crypto market as it rose 8% a few hours later, caught people top 20. At the press time, it was trading at 19.6 cents. I mean, volatility, seriously, we're talking about 20.4 cents at 19.6 cents. Give over. It's not volatile. ABM Crypto looked at into the block's data revealed that despite the recent volatility in price, more than 88% of Doge investors were in profit. Then we checked them out. This is nonsense. A rise in liquidation also caused the price to correct. Nonsense. 22 cents. There's a target. What to expect in Q2? I don't know who's written this. If a bull market rally actually happens, Doge might touch 35 cents in the coming weeks. We're going to go and check that out in a minute. Considering the utopian situation of Doge sustaining its bull momentum, Doge could hit 50 cents, then 70 cents in the summer. The bullish momentum can also result in Doge pushing its limit and reaching a new all-time high of $1. Right, now, let's bring this up a second. We don't need to read any more about this. Apart from technical indices, investors' confidence in the meme coin also seemed pretty high. Now, one thing that didn't mention at any point was X launching it as a tipping feature. Now, we're going to start off by looking at... Okay, so let's talk sensible numbers before we look at the price on the chart. So, Doge has a market cap of 28 billion and it's 20 cents. So we would need to 5x it to get to $1. That would give it a market cap of $140 billion. $140 billion for a meme coin. Now, it's going to become the tipping feature of X. X being Twitter. I think he bought Twitter for 29 billion. And I think it's currently worth 40 billion. So do the numbers in your head. We have a platform worth $40 billion that has a tipping feature on it. And that tipping feature is Doge. And the tipping feature is worth 3.5 times the value of the entire platform. Does that make sense? No, it does not. I know what people are going to say, but it's not going to be limited to X. It can be used on Reddit. That's been tried and done and scrapped. It can be used on Telegram. No, it can't, because that's what Toncoin is going to be used for. It can be used on Instagram and Facebook. No, it can't. They've tried that and they've done it and they've scrapped it. So what else? What's the reason for this rubbish meme coin being worth $140 billion? It isn't. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. It's insanity. I'll go as far as to say it's insanity. If we look at XRP and we say XRP is going to go to $5, for argument's sake, that would value XRP at about 270 billion. And you're telling me that Dogecoin is half the value of a product that is going to power CBDCs and stablecoins across the world, solve a lot of cross-border payment problems, and become integrated into the entire banking system. And you're telling me a meme coin with a dog on it is going to be half the value of that. I don't know how you get to that conclusion. I think Dogecoin, the most it could get to, in my humble opinion, is about 60 to 70 cents. And then it becomes ridiculous. Where is the money going to flow from to get Dogecoin to $1? In this market, in the last market, it didn't have the competition it's got now. In this market, we have got Pepe, we have got Bonk, we've got Bonk, Pepe, Dog with Hat, Shiba Inu is still there. Remember, in the last bull run, Shiba Inu got to 40 billion. So we have so many more meme coins now eating from the meme coin pie. Dogecoin has sat there and done nothing for 4 years. And it's like, oh, well, tomorrow it's going to be approved. Next month it's going to be approved. The month after it's going to be approved. I had Dogecoin picked last year as my hot tip for the coin that was going to rip, expecting that it was going to be announced in November or December last year. We're in April. Nothing's happened. We're 6 months later. It's still sitting there. It's living off past glories. And the sooner people realize this, the better. Shiba Inu is 10 times the coin that Dogecoin is ever going to be. Dogecoin has to fundamentally change everything about itself to become valuable. Number one, it has to scrap its unlimited cap. It has to become sorry, my streaming app disconnected me ever so slightly then. So the question is which is more likely to happen? Is Dogecoin going to hit $1? Is that more likely to happen? Or is it more likely that Shiba flips it in the bull run? I think it's more likely that Shiba flips it. I'm not saying that any other meme coin is going to flip Doge, but for me, Shiba Inu has so much more about it. Dogecoin's done nothing. It needs to fundamentally change. It's just an utter waste of time. That's all I'm going to say about it. Now, price action then. Let's go and have a look at the price action. We did really well. And again, I don't change these charts from 1 week to the next. As you can see, we were down there. We're now there. So bull market support band for this is 13 cents. Not bad. But look at what we did. We came up into this range. We messed around for a little bit. We broke out. We found support and we've come back up. So for me, next target is here, which is very similar to what the article was saying. 23 cents for me for Doge, and then this is my target up here, which I must have set ages ago, 29 cents. So if you do like Doge, again, very similar to 1 inch, there's a 50% upside, but the downside is a lot further down. So you're kind of looking at a 50% retracement to go to the bull market support band. You're looking at a 50% increase to get to my next target. I think realistically anywhere between 50 and 70 cents in the bull run for me for Doge, and I'm going to eat another hat if it gets to 150, 200 billion market cap, because it really doesn't deserve to be there, and it will all end in tears if people are buying that coin, and that is all I'll say on the matter. Now on to a serious coin, and that is ADA. And this is actually quite a good article as well. AMB Crypto again. Very quickly then, before I forget, make sure to smash the like button. Make sure to say hello in chat. Make sure to give us a follow on all of our different platforms. It's very important that you help us build the channel. I am going to turn the commenting back on very soon, and I will drop a box, but I will not be dropping the box until the end of the stream. So make sure you follow us on all the different platforms, help us grow. 117,500 in the bottom left hand corner. We're trying to get to 200,000 as soon as possible. And also, I made a video yesterday of a very new meme coin, very low market cap. We've contacted them to get some tokens to give away, and we have had a green light. So I'm going to contact them today. Maybe a week tomorrow, we will have a token giveaway. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Now, give me 1 second. Again, my voice is starting to go. I just need to go and get myself my coffee, and then I will be back. Give me 30 seconds. Much better now. Okay then. So as I said, next Wednesday, which I think is the 17th, the 17th, we are likely to be doing a giveaway. So make sure you definitely give us a follow. I've already put the event up on one of the channels, so make sure you go and check that out. Right then, let's get back to the article. We've still got plenty of time, which is good to see. So Cardano has been experiencing sustained FUD, fear, uncertainty, and it's not disinformation, it's doubt. Why do people reinvent things? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt since Q1. The FUD and attacks have spilled into Q2. BitBoy, and we kind of covered this a few days ago, he had a go at Cardano, and Charles, 2 or 3 days ago, Charles bit back. I included that in the stream yesterday. Gemini are the latest to throw shade at Cardano. Also, we covered last week, Grayscale have dropped Cardano from one of their trusts. So there's a lot of bad press going out about Cardano. Now, one thing to bear in mind when you see FUD about small projects, that's understandable, they could go to zero. When you see FUD about very large projects, for me, that is a bottom signal. That is the signal that We've had it with XRP as well, where people are selling those tokens and they're saying it's finished. A good example of this is Crow, the token. Crow was trading at 5 cents. It got absolutely faded by everybody. Exchange is dead, project is dead, it's game over. That's now 3x, it's 15 cents a token. It will probably 2, 3, 4x in the next bull run. When people tell you that a top 10, top 20 token is finished, then you have to look at the project itself and say, is it like Litecoin, for example? I don't see enough about Litecoin. The news about Litecoin being an ETF is the reason I think it will rip up to $300 or $400. But for me, Litecoin it's not in the consciousness of people. Cardano is talked about every day on X. Hydra is talked about. The DeFi platforms are talked about. The NFT projects are talked about. It's not a dead chain. Again, we covered it in an article where somebody was saying that buying Bitcoin Cash, Cardano, and a few other chains are zombie chains. It's these stupid reporters and journalists. It's misinformation. A zombie chain is a chain where there are no active developments going on. Number one. And number two, the chain isn't used by anybody. They're the two things that indicate it's a zombie chain. Cardano has, number one, a huge active community. Number two, a huge number of developers building on it. It's like this left-wing, right-wing thing. If you say something at this moment in time and somebody disagrees with you, they will either call you left-wing, or extreme right-wing. And it's just this brush that people tar people with, and it's getting into crypto, and it's utterly nonsense. People are allowed to disagree with each other without smearing them. Cardano builds at a different pace to everything else. Solana builds at a different pace to everything else. So does Bitcoin and Ethereum. Their ETF won't be approved because it's not Bitcoin. Bitcoin is proof of work. What's Ethereum? It's proof of stake. Different projects. That's why they can't all be treated the same. Cardano is not the same as Solana. Solana currently can't process transactions, and it hasn't been able to process transactions for 5 days. Yet we're sitting here talking about Cardano and fudding Cardano, which I don't think has ever had a day's downtime. Yet Cardano has the problem. I know I like Solana. I love Solana. I know we're early. I'm not having a go at Solana. They're both good projects. What I'm getting at is every blockchain has politics and problems. Cardano is no different. Different chains with different purposes, Kishan. Exactly. Cardano. If you were in Africa or certain parts of Asia, Cardano would be your number one chain because of what they're building out there for free. These big American companies want to go to Africa and charge billions of dollars to provide them with healthcare and education care about $1,000. Are solving real world problems. They are talking to Interpol about creating a blockchain criminal. Ethereum is for institutions. Great. Cardano has a different path. Just because that path isn't the same path as Solana doesn't make it a zombie dead chain. Now, what I also said about this was BitBoy called it dead. Right? BitBoy is the master of PR. Okay? He is incredible at it. He turned up at was it Barbados? He went to Barbados or Bermuda to actually go and knock on the door of Sam Bankman-Fried. He turned up at the court case for Sam Bankman-Fried. He pretends to be a soldier crawling through the grass outside the Ethereum Foundation. He's like Marmite. You love him or you hate him, but the point is he's about getting as much exposure as possible. Calling Cardano dead, he knew he would get a reaction from Charles. By getting reaction from Charles, he was going to get the publicity. It worked perfectly. Whether you like him or not, he's incredible at what he does. Charles, on the other hand, is also incredible at what he does, in a different way. And BitBoy has said here, I think if you watch the video, some good points are raised. I think Charles should come on the channel for an interview and we can debate. What crypto are you buying today? So Cardano founder reacts. For all you ADA believers, what DAT on this list originally launched on Cardano or has a Cardano offering that is heavily used? From my very limited knowledge, looks like none of them do. That's why we're not going to read that one out. So Arthur Hayes doesn't like it either. Charles has been forced to discredit the recent ongoing FUD through a recent post. We are holding all the cards as an ecosystem. We have the best path for scalability, governance, and innovation. We also have the best community. He blamed short-term narratives for Cardano's woes, but remained confident. Exactly. People expect huge billion-dollar projects to be finished in a year. And if you look at how long it took to build Solana, it didn't take very long. But guess what? We're now a few years down the line and it's fallen over, victim of its own success. Cardano is building for the long term. They're not the same. They're apples and pears. You can't compare them. The problem with our industry is that we're short-term narratives and carnival barkers dominate the conversation. I think that might have been aimed at crypto. At BitBoy Crypto. At the time of writing, ADA's price was up 3%. ADA seems undervalued, but the recovery faced overhead handles at 63 cents. We'll have a quick look. We're out of time, but we're going to have a quick look anyway. I think we covered Cardano yesterday or the day before. And so we've got a $15,000 portfolio, and in that portfolio, we do hold Cardano and we do hold XRP. And both of those coins are being FUDed left, right, and center as we speak. I don't necessarily agree we should be FUDing each other because it's infighting. And there needs to be a truce between chains because nobody wins when everybody loses. And that's where we are with crypto. You've got the SEC looking in. You've got institutions looking in. You've got retail looking in. And you've got the he said, she said. It's like a school, but it's like looking through the railings of a school playground. Grow up. We're trying to fix the world in certain respects. Obviously, we can't fix the world in every respect. We're trying to fix problems in the world. You know, it's like my mum, your mum. Just it's childish and puerile, and it needs to stop. Infantile, sorry. It needs to stop. For me, then, where are we with Cardano? So let's go back out a little bit. Again, we're going to go back to October again, aren't we? There we go, October. The 27th is down here, just off your screen. You can't probably see the date of. We broke up of its support band. We've retested. We've come up to this level of resistance. And what did we do? We've came back down because we got rejected. We've bounced off the bull market support band, which is about 56 cents. And guess what we're going to do now? We're going to try and have a run at 67.5 cents. If we break that, then we're going to go back to 80 cents. So that's where we are with Cardano. But for me, it's a solid project. It is going to have a good bull run. Remember, the bull run is going to finish at the end of next year, potentially the end of next year, middle to end of next year. Cardano isn't building for that bull run. It's building for 2030, 2035. But that still doesn't mean it can't have a good run. Look, the RSI, every time the RSI comes down this low, what happens to the price? It runs up. So what's likely to happen now? It looks like it's going to run up. And no, it doesn't mean it's going to happen today or tomorrow, but I think at 60 cents we're undervalued. Like I was saying about Solana, if Solana goes into the halving at about $190 to $200, that's a good price. if Cardano goes into the bull run at 80 cents, that's a good price for Cardano, in my opinion. So we're only probably 30% move away from where we will be. And if we very quickly put in the vertical line for April, there we go. So that's how far we are away from the halving. Now, I don't think it's wholly unrealistic. If Bitcoin plays ball, I don't think it's unrealistic to do that, because we did the same thing here. So there we go. So I think we can be 80 cents on Cardano, and that would give you a 35% gain in the next 10 days. And I don't see why it's going to go down any further. People like to FUD Cardano, great. If other chains had the amount of FUD that Cardano's had in the last 3 or 4 weeks, their price would have suffered. And I don't know why it's come about, but it has. In fact, again, if you look at the price action of Cardano, the FUD started about here. Now, is that a coincidence that the FUD starts 3-4 weeks ago? I don't think so. So maybe the price has been FUDded on purpose. Who knows? Maybe the FUD is trying to cover up some of the issues with Solana. If everyone's looking at Cardano because of the price action, or they're having a go at development, is that to cover up over the fact that Solana can't process transactions at the minute? Is it an Ethereum thing? Who knows? Who knows? There's lots of possibilities on why the price is that low. But don't panic. We are still 10 days before the halving. We are more than well equipped to move into the rest of this year in a healthy position. So don't panic. Now let's have a very quick look and see what Bitcoin has done. So Bitcoin is back up. Is it back up? Yeah, $70,700. Remember what I said, we needed to hold that $70,000 line, and then we would move back up, hopefully towards 71, 72, even 73 today. So I think that was a retest at 70,000. And given the time, we've been live an hour, and it's taken an hour to recover. So I think we can safely say that we're good for another 3 or 4 hours until America opens, and then we'll see what happens to the price then. I expect us to either move up considerably back towards 71.5, 71.6, or hover around 71, but I don't see us falling below 70,000 again. We will probably have another retest in the next few days, but again, that's a possibility. It's also a possibility that we get to my $74,000 target. So we just need to hang on and find out. Now, I'm going to turn the commenting back on in chat, and what I'm going to do now is drop a box for those of you watching. So let me just drop the comment to win box. I'll drop it for quite a few minutes because you all need to catch it. Let's just very quickly type this in. Right, there we go. Right, so my final comment then, my final thoughts. I suppose it comes back to what we were saying yesterday about Jamie Dimon and BlackRock and people like that. And my final comment is, do as they do, not as they say. And I know I've probably said this one before, but I want to reiterate it. People are FUDding Cardano. What is the motivation behind it? We were at 80 cents, potentially we're about 80 cents when that FUD started to happen, and the price has dropped 25%. So Cardano is now 25% cheaper following this FUD campaign. It's now at 60 cents. Who would be motivated to cause that price to drop? People who want to buy Cardano. We've seen it with Bitcoin. And Jamie Dimon and Larry Fink. Bitcoin is used by criminals. Bitcoin is used for conflict. Bitcoin is used for money laundering. All of these things they say about it. What do? They say it's bad. They buy it. Last year, the biggest net purchaser of Bitcoin was BlackRock via different entities in different parts of the world. They were buying it at the beginning of last year. What were they saying about Bitcoin? What were they saying about Bitcoin 3 years ago and 4 years ago? They were doing nothing but pushing the price down. Now, for me, that's immoral, but it's not illegal. It's not illegal. It's not price manipulation, because guess what? Bitcoin isn't a regulated industry, so they can say what they want. The same with any coin you see. So if I came on here and I said to you, you need to go and buy, you need to sell everything you own, and you need to go and buy stacks. Sell everything and buy stacks. The first question you should ask yourself is, why am I telling you to sell everything and buy stacks? What is my motivation to do that? Now, you should come to the conclusion that I am being paid by stacks to do that, or that I have bought a load of stacks and I'm telling you to buy it, so you push the price up and then I will sell for a massive profit. They're the two reasons that I would tell you to do that. I would never do that, by the way. I'm just giving you an example. Why would anybody tell you not to buy a coin? Are they trying to help you? Do they have your best interests at heart? No, they do not. They have their own interests at heart, and their own interest is to buy as many as they can for the cheapest price possible. That goes for any coin. So if BlackRock, Goldman Sachs is another good example. Goldman Sachs, yeah, we don't like Bitcoin. It doesn't have a use case. None of our clients are asking for it. 3 days later, Goldman Sachs becomes a partner with BlackRock for selling its ETF. There you go. What more evidence do you need that they don't have your interests at heart? They have their own interests at heart. And much as we need banks, keep liquidity in the market, keep things oiled and smooth, don't trust what they say. Do your own research. Always ask the question, why are they telling me that? Why are they saying this? And they're normally going to say it because they're doing the opposite. And it's a trick as old as time. The same way, if you've got two sandwich shops, one sandwich shop will spread a rumor that somebody got food poisoning from the other shop, and then the following day, everybody goes to their sandwich shop. It's just vicious rumors that uses simple psychology to make you fold. And we are going to see BlackRock, maybe Goldman Sachs, we will see one of them saying, potentially in the future, oh, you know, Bitcoin, it's not going to get above $100,000. Yeah, I don't think it'll get above $95,000. Why would they tell you that? Because you'd believe them and you'll sell at $95,000. And then you'll be scratching your head when we're at $200,000 and they own all of your Bitcoin. So my final thought is, do as they do, not as they say. And always ask the question of anybody you read or listen to, why are they saying what they're saying? Why is that article written in that way? Why is Jamie Dimon or Larry Fink saying what they're saying? Now, if they come out and they're bullish and they say things like Bitcoin is going to change the world, it's democracy at its finest, it's uncensorable, they all want you to buy their Bitcoin ETF and you'll buy it through them. In 3 years' time, if he's saying Bitcoin isn't going to get much further, it's stuck, whatever else it might be, he's wanting to buy all the Bitcoin and he's going to want you to sell. So he's trying to suppress the price. Think of it in that respect. That's it then. 11:42. We are finished. I am off to hopefully get the house ready and celebrate the Oracle's birthday. I'm going to take a screenshot of that. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Remember, smash the like button. Very important. Give us a follow. I am back tomorrow, hopefully at 11 o'clock again. So I will be back tomorrow. I will have to finish early tomorrow as I have to be somewhere at 12:30. So it will be a 1 hour on the dot. I might go live 10 minutes earlier tomorrow at 10:50 just to fit the show in. But I will be back. Thank you to Kishan, Tartaland, Fran, Mags, Tariq, everybody that's in chat that's left messages. I've turned the other chat back on so you can now claim your box. Until tomorrow, Have a lovely evening. And remember, the eclipse happened. We're all still here. Demons didn't come piling out of the hydrogen collider, whatever it was called, yesterday. We're all still here. The world hasn't ended. Don't believe everything you read or hear online. See you tomorrow.